Perfect. Thank you. Welcome to the class. It's a pleasure to be with you once again. And of course, the first thing that we're going to check is about the platform. How is everything going with the platform? Everybody's going very well? No problems with the platform?
No, teacher. In my case, no. No
Okay.
problem.
Perfect. So let me just
In
check.
this moment.
Yeah, we need to be careful on the one that you have to type something, right? So in that one, we need to be careful because sometimes if you enter a space or a period or you miss a period, then sometimes that can cause a problem because it has to be perfect. It has to be exactly the one that we need, right? So this is the class of tonight, and this is the homework of tonight. So we need just to enter or click the right option, and that's it. Okay. So now we're going to check about the attendance. Let's see. Ada Patricia Linares Galdames.
Present.
Good. Adriana Stephanie Martínez Flores. Alejandra Michelle Hueso Nájera. Ana Selmi Chévez. Edwin Alexander Ayala Erazo. Gloria Elizabeth Linares Galdames.
Yes.
Good. Carla Verónica Vázquez de Rivas.
Good evening. Present.
Good evening. Maybe Coromoto García de Calderón. Manuel Antonio Palma. María Elena Guadalupe Peñate Escobar. Mario Ernesto Villeda. Rosa Elena Salgado de Serrano.
Present, teacher.
Good. Silvia Zuleima Rodríguez de González. Susana Beatriz Ortiz de Cornejo.
Present, teacher.
Good. Susana Carolina Hernández Iraeta.
Present. Good evening.
Good evening. Walter Mauricio Morales Araujo.
Present.
Good. Wendy Maribel Zabaleta Ochoa.
Present.
Good, perfect. Okay, anybody's missing? Nobody's missing, right? Everybody's.
Teacher, present.
Okay, Maria Elena, let's see. Here you are. Okay. Okay. So we're going to start the class with a video, okay? This is an interesting one, and let's check. Whenever we see a video, it's important for us to check about the vocabulary, the pronunciation. Remember that in the videos, since we're going to listen to people that speak only English, you will be able to check into that one. Sometimes we're going to see videos of people from other countries, and they don't speak Spanish, so it's a very good idea for us to check into that one, okay? So let's check the video and then let me know what you got interesting or any opinions on that one. Here we go.
Hi all, my name is Leah and I'm a management and industry consultant working in financial services, and in this video I will share with you how you can hold on to a perfect meeting etiquette regardless of being in a virtual or an in-person meeting. I've probably held and participated in thousands of meetings so far, and the following 13 tips are the most important meeting do's that you should follow to make a perfect professional impression. Meeting etiquette item number 1 is to be punctual. That may be a no-brainer for most of us, but not for everyone. So being on time is, in my opinion, the most fundamental rule that you should hold on to, not only for meetings, but in a business and ideally also private context in general. I agree that sometimes there are unforeseen circumstances that may prevent you from joining a meeting on time. But especially when you are the host or the organizer, or if you are a key participant whose opinion or approval is required, you should ensure that you're able to join on time. If not, you should try to notify the other participants in as much advance notice as possible. Especially for virtual meetings that are oftentimes quite short, so for example 20 or 30 minutes, it's key to be on time. Otherwise, if key stakeholders show up 10 minutes late, there might only be 10 or 20 minutes left of the actual meeting. If you want to avoid having back-to-back meetings, running the danger of being late for each and every one, you can try to schedule 20 instead of 30 minutes or 50 instead of 60-minute meetings. Often, the scheduled time is also sufficient to discuss the topic, and you have at least a little bit of leeway in between. Within the meeting, you should make sure to properly introduce yourself. Of course, the round of introduction can be skipped if everyone knows each other already, but if that's not the case, you might want to suggest that. And doing so, you make sure everyone is on the same page and knows why that person is participating in the meeting and what their capabilities are. For proper meeting introduction, you should make sure to cover your full name, your location, your team or department, your job title or your role and responsibilities, as well as why you are participating in that specific meeting. A proper introduction could, for example, look like this. Hello, my name is Leah Miller. I am based in Munich, Germany, and I'm a procurement officer in central procurement, being responsible for purchasing and engaging any type of external party or service provider. And that's why I will join these calls going forward to negotiate and finalize this service agreement with you. Depending on the context and participants, it might also make sense to provide some information on your prior positions, experience or tenure within the company. However, only if that's relevant and value adding to the overall meeting. Let me know in the comments if I've missed something for a proper introduction or how you are usually introducing yourself in meetings. For meetings, regardless of virtual or in-person ones, you should always be prepared. Ideally, the organizer has shared an agenda with the meeting invite as well as some pre-read information or the like. It could also very well be the case that explicitly no preparation is required, but that should also be communicated beforehand. Overall, it's key that expectations are managed before the meeting, so meeting participants know what to expect, how and what to prepare. That's the only way an efficient meeting can be conducted. So whenever you receive an invite without an agenda or any other information, feel free to request that from the organizer to make sure you know what's expected from you. In case you need to prepare for the meeting, keep the ultimate meeting goal in mind and prepare yourself accordingly. So for example, if the goal of the meeting is to make a certain decision, you should think about what's required from you and what you need to prepare in order to make that decision. To further hold on to a proper meeting etiquette, you should dress properly. That's especially relevant for virtual meetings that you might conduct from home. But just because you're sitting at home does not mean that you should wear your cozy homeware to your virtual business meetings as well. So regardless of the setup and place of your meeting, make sure to have a professional outer appearance. So make sure to wear a proper shirt or blouse, maybe even with a jacket if you like, or if the shirt only is too cold. So as you know, there is no second chance for a first impression, so dress to impress. Another meeting do is to stick to the agenda. Ideally, that was shared beforehand, so maybe in the meeting invite or in a separate email. In any case, you should also try to stick to it and not mix up any of the topics, since this would just create confusion and some extra effort to catch the discussion and finally steer it back to the actual agenda item. A good agenda should be repeated at the beginning of the meeting so everyone is aware and could potentially add any further topics that they might have. It should also allow for miscellaneous topics or outstanding questions at the very end, such that the meeting can be closed with no more open topics. Especially for virtual meetings, an agenda and adherence to it is key. And that's because all meeting participants are remote, making the overall collaboration and communication a little bit more challenging, such that a solid structure is beneficial and helps to properly steer the discussion. To listen actively is another crucial rule of meeting etiquette. Active listening is a very important soft skill that could very well be discussed in a separate video. But for the sake of simplicity, make sure to follow the following tips. Try to pay attention to everything what's being said and do not comment or judge any of these statements immediately. Rather, reflect on what's being said and ask potentially clarifying questions or describe the situations in your own words. Whilst listening to others, make sure to observe the opposite as a whole, to try to reflect on gestures and facial expressions in combination with the spoken word. Active listening might be even a bit more important for virtual meetings, because there you might not be able to see the entire body language of the other, or might have problems to interpret the facial expressions because the video quality might not be too good. In any case, be aware of the challenges and try to even more focus on what you can observe instead of what you can't. Especially in virtual meetings, speaking clearly is another part of proper meeting etiquette. Since everyone is dialed into the meeting from home, everyone might use a different technical equipment or have different surroundings, which is why the audio quality might differ for each participant. And that's why it's even more important to speak loud and clear into the microphone without mumbling or jabbering around. If you are in doubt of your sound quality, feel free to just ask the other meeting participants if they can briefly confirm that they are hearing you clearly and loud enough. If you know that you mumble from time to time, make yourself aware before a meeting and work on your pronunciation on a continuous basis. Sound and audio quality aside, being able to articulate yourself properly is also crucial for in-person meetings. Another meeting do is to focus on the meeting and getting rid of any distractions aside. That's easier when you have an in-person meeting, since everyone can see what the other's doing. But in case it's a virtual meeting, it's even harder to control the others and their actual focus. In any case, it's a no-go to be on the phone whilst being on a meeting at the same time. So make sure you have put your phone aside and muted all notifications. If it's an in-person meeting, you could even think of putting away your laptop if it's not necessary to present something or to write notes. If you still need it, think about closing your email or chat program, or to ensure that no notifications pop up whilst you are in that meeting. Any distractions that are being created in the meeting and potentially be picked up by yourself is a rude distraction and should not be part of a proper meeting. A proper meeting etiquette further requires decent body language. As you might know, with different postures, you can transmit different types of messages. If you cross your arms, for example, usually means that you are somewhat defensive, insecure, or just closed off. Crossing your legs could symbolize that you are uncomfortable or making a so-called figure 4, which could demonstrate power and dominance. So make sure to be aware of your body language and what can be seen by others. In virtual meetings, for example, only your upper body and your arms and head can be seen. So it does not matter what you do with your legs and feet. Regardless of the meeting you are in, make sure to have your body language under control. So for example, I've already seen someone in a meeting openly yawning several times or resting their head onto their arms almost for the entire meeting. Now think about what that non-verbal communication transmits and if you would want to be seen like that. Eating and drinking is another point to discuss when it comes to meeting etiquette. Of course, you'd never want to forbid to drink during a meeting. That's complete nonsense in my opinion and should be treated as completely normal. In-person meetings as well as virtual meetings, it's perfectly fine if you have a glass of water or a cup of tea or coffee at hand. However, where I still struggle with this, when people drink out of a huge bottle or a gallon right in the middle of the meeting. Then I ask myself if they were not able to pick up a glass of water just for the sake of that meeting. But fine, I appreciate that staying hydrated is super important. But what's definitely not necessary, and a meeting don't, is to eat during a meeting. Now let's put a working lunch aside. In my opinion, there's no reason to eat during a meeting, be it in-person or virtual ones. But especially for virtual meetings, I have the feeling that eating is much more common. So I've already seen people eating their cornflakes or a proper meal right in front of the camera. Please do not do that, ever. If you're short on time, eating and at the same time discussing within a meeting is quite rude. Drinking yes, eating no. period. Another meeting do is to capture notes. There's nothing worse than going out of a meeting and having forgotten what's been discussed and not knowing what your own action items are. Therefore, make sure to always take notes of what's being discussed in the meeting, which next steps were agreed, and which action items were distributed to whom. Always think about what the key takeaways are that you would want to report to your manager or any other person that did not take part in the meeting. So whatever these key points are, note them down and you will be fine. If you're not sure how to take good meeting notes, check out this video in which I share my own meeting note template. One of the tips for a proper meeting etiquette was being on time, and now when the meeting is over or the time is out, you should also make sure to close on time. By closing on time, I mean ideally not overrunning the meeting, or at least not overrunning it drastically. I admit sometimes there's just 1 or 2 minutes required to close a topic or approve a request, which is fine. But there's nothing worse than overrunning a meeting so much that you will be late to all of your subsequent ones. If you would have stuck to your agenda as well as properly managed the time throughout the meeting, you would not need to overrun. In case you run the risk of overrunning, just ask everyone if they might have another 5 or 10 minutes or if they have a subsequent meeting. If that's the case, you should respect their time and schedule a follow-up to finish the discussion. A final meeting do is to leave the meeting room as you found it initially. Assuming it was nice and perfectly tidied up, that's also how you should leave it once the meeting is over. That means that you should make sure that all windows are closed, the tables and desks are properly arranged again, that all empty bottles or used glasses are taken away, and that the written flip chart pages are taken off and disposed. There is nothing worse than coming into a meeting room that was left super messy and unorganized from the prior meeting participants. Just because it's rude, and in case you have to tidy it up at the beginning of your meeting, valuable meeting time is already taken away at the very beginning. Obviously, that's only relevant for in-person meetings, whilst there's nothing to tidy up after a virtual meeting, maybe except for your own desk. So that's it for the 13 tips for a proper meeting etiquette. I'd appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel for further videos on career and self-development. Also,
Perfect. What did you get from the video? Any comments? Any relevant things that you heard?
I think it's always important, teacher.
Yes.
And in my case, I don't do that everything you say, and I really need to pay attention. In the point, in the number 6, listening, when she say don't judge anyone. Sometimes I am thinking, oh, this partner is he don't understand me, but maybe it's a problem mine. And I really like it when she say about articulation and distraction, because many times I am using the phone.
Very good, perfect. Thank you very much. And yeah, sometimes we do certain things, but there are other things that we don't think about that one, right? It's not just a matter of creating an agenda or to follow up the business things. It's just a matter of other things that are relevant for the audience, right? So very good, perfect. Any other comments on the video?
Okay, I think it is really relevant, the 13 points about how you can help a perfect meeting. And then they say proper meeting etiquette. It is really nice to remember that a very simple rule like to be punctual, as well as you are the host or a key participant, or you should notify in advance if you are coming late to an important meeting. The second part, the introduction. I think a very good introduction can help to start smoothly the meeting, because it's allowed the attendees to come to feel close to feel known from the rest of the attendees. A name, to which department you belong, your responsibility, and it is very nice be able to speak about the contribution you are going to make for the succeed of the meeting. The preparation, we have talked about a lot about the importance of preparation, the outfit, how to dress properly for a meeting. Sometimes we forgot that it is the same if you are in a virtual meeting or in a presencial meeting. You need really to think about it. It is not a question of how old you are, or if you are millennial or centennial or like me, the third age. Okay, it is very important. The meeting agenda, we have spoken a lot about the meaning about to health an agenda, to be repeated at the beginning of the meeting, allow for me to open a very short time to allow from misstops and to can include the new topics that maybe you have forgotten to include. Listening actively, it is so important to really to take part full in mindfulness in the meeting, because listening actively is really difficult when you do not pay close attention, or you are always prejudiced to judge, and we do not take your time to reflect and ask clarifying questions, etc. The articulation about your language and the support you need to make clearly that everybody can listen and understand well. The body language was very funny, because you always forget about the body language, and it is very important during the virtual meeting that you forget it, that everybody is seeing you, yes, how you are conducted yourself. And this word, yawning, or sleeping, yes, or so, yes, and it is really important to take care of the discussions items, next step, actions points, the most important things. Closing a meeting has rules, and leave a meeting also have rules. Very nice ones.
Perfect. Thank you. Very, very good. So you took very nice notes, and yeah, everything is important. Sometimes we believe that one is more important than the other one, but that depends on many things. And of course, it's not the same to be there in physical or to be in a virtual meeting. So we need to consider different points of view, different things. But in general, all the things that you mentioned were very good. Susana Beatriz, you were going to say something.
Hello.
Hello.
And she say is tips for is mirroring, is our organization, punctuality, preparation, is outfit important, is different, is class, the meeting is on site, is online, is tips in general, is hearing, is tips is important, is the clay, the force is I have a meeting in important or in presentations only that.
Very good, perfect. Thank you very much. Very important also what you say, sir. Yeah, there are different points of view, and there are different things that you need to consider whenever you are presenting, right? Wendy.
Okay. She say the position of the body. For example, the hand and the arms or the legs, cross the legs. The say introduce the self, myself or of the self or other people. Only important information is important. The time in the meeting in virtual meeting is important time. Minutes, only minutes is the meeting. Punctual responsibility. Say other. I see funny. For example, a glass of water or a cup of coffee, but not big butter. Big butter of water is funny for me. For only that.
Perfect. So definitely, yeah, I mean, you're not going to be there with a big bottle of water, right? And she said also that it's not good to eat. Remember that that depends on the meeting. So, for example, I told you, I mean, this is a regular meeting that we have at the same time. I know that sometimes you are coming from work, right? And you are hungry. So if you want to eat your dinner in the class, not a problem. But in the business meetings, definitely it's not a good idea, right? So you are not going to be in there and saying, "Oh yes, you know, it's not good, right?" That is something that is not going to be proper. Another thing is something that you mentioned. Somebody mentioned also that one that, I mean, if you do certain things, or if you see that the audience is doing certain things, they are sending you some message that maybe they're boring or many other things, and some things may be rude, depending. I mean, we might have people from other countries, from different cultures, right? And we need to understand also those kind of things whenever we are in a meeting with people from other countries. So actually, that is the topic of tonight. Okay, and let me just go there and show you. So what what do you think can be cultural misunderstanding? What is that in your opinion? What is a cultural misunderstanding?
A cultural misunderstanding is the one that come not from how express something, that it's more how people from different cultures assume the meaning of words, of body language, of some conducts, you know. For example, in Asia, it's not properly to shake hands, you know, and Latin American people shake hands and give hugs, you know. It was for me so difficult in China because I wanted to give hugs to everybody that have offered us a sympathy, and they always keep their body language like way, very rigid, you know, and then it is quite misunderstood, especially for women that want to give hugs, and they keep themselves away from people. They only make so.
That is it. Very good. Perfect. That is a very good example that maybe it's said. I mean, different cultures, they have different approaches. When you are going to travel to other countries, definitely you need to investigate, right? Because you don't want to do something rude. For example, also in Asia and Thailand, it's not good to touch the head of kids because they believe that their soul is there. So it's very rude to touch the head of the kids. In England, for example, it's very rude if somebody in a restaurant they cross the feet, one in front of the other one. Not good, right? So many things happen, and we're going to provide other examples about that one right here. But do you have any other examples on your own?
Teacher.
Yep.
But cultural misunderstanding, it maybe make when more or two or more people speak the same language, but they mean understanding different things. For example, in our countries, it's not the same. Someone works. The people understand other things about the one word.
Very true, very true. I mean, even in our country, in El Salvador, if you go from Santa Ana to San Miguel, sometimes the words are different, the food is different, the way they speak is different, right?
Yes, I remember the first time when I go to Santiago de María in Sulután. I say a partner take me a paila. And she ha ha ha.
She laughed.
And it's not the same.
Very true. Remind that little word, paila, I mean, here in Santa Ana is a little plate, right? But there,
yes, but there is
recipe.
Es un guacal.
Yeah, so imagine that is totally different, right? So imagine that you say, I need a paila for my coffee, and everybody's like, what? Oh, it's totally different, right? Very good, perfect. So,
Teacher, I think in this country, we have a bad habit where you say in a meeting is at 8, but you know you start 8:30.
that is true. In El Salvador, is like coming late is the normal, right? So for parties, for example, you say at 7 and everybody comes at 8. So that is true. Maybe at work it's not, but even though there are some people that they continue coming late, even at work. Good. So let's read a little bit more about that one, okay? Let's check here. So we're going to check some examples and then we're going to continue discussing on that one.
Eric.
So, go ahead.
Eric, you know, in the learning platform, all the videos are not functioning. They only, this only a video talking about my name is Jenny X, you know? The learning platform offers some videos for different, yes, no, this one, no, the follow-up, this is the introduction. And then the only is one video.
Let me show you, okay? And let me explain you about that one. Let me ask you something, maybe. Is this the first time that you are working, that you're working with this platform? I mean, is this the first module that you do?
With this one, yes. Yes.
Okay. Probably that is why.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes, that is the first time.
Let me explain you about that one, okay? So the videos that you are going to see here are the classes that we have. So when you click on that one, you are going to see that the classes, I mean, these are
going to use
the ones that we are doing right now.
And that is because sometimes we use two verbs together.
Okay.
So that's why we have only 3 videos. Because today, I mean, we are running the full
this
class.
one. My name is Jennifer Miller. It comes often.
Let me explain you about that one, okay?
Okay.
So this video is the video conference 4, right?
Yes.
So the video conference 4 is the one that we're doing right now. Tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow, this video, the one that we're recording, is going to be there in the platform.
Okay, fine.
So that is it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there is a video there because we need to have a video before we upload the other video. We just replace that one. But that is the normal way, okay? Very good. So we were going to check about the class. Let me just go there. Perfect. So let's see. Carla, could you please help me reading about this?
Cultural misunderstanding can be worst type of embarrassment you can possibly face. It happens when you do something that is thoroughly fine to do in your culture, but is offensive to the others. This kind of confusion might cause you from embarrassment to good bearing and most probably getting fired from a job. So one thing is clear that we must be wary of cultural misunderstanding in order to avoid troubles.
Very good. What did you understand on that one?
This kind of situation is very common when you travel to another country. In a different country, it's possible that you misunderstanding something habitus, teacher?
Something, I'm sorry?
Habitus?
Habits.
Habits. Something habits because it's possible that in another country that your habit that for you is very nice, in this country it's possible that this habit is not very nice in a to do. Or for example, it is very common in the mean of the mean of a word. For example, it's possible that in some country, some word the mean is good, but in another country the mean is bad. For example, it's very important that you have a care to put some words, for example.
Very good. So perfect. That is it. I mean, cultural misunderstanding is like that. You do something or you say something, but in other cultures, sometimes the meaning might be totally different and also might be offensive. So we need to be careful. In general, we need to be careful, but more when we are speaking, or when there is a job environment, right? So it's even worse. We need to be very, very careful because we not only may be embarrassed, but also we can be fired, right? So that is not good, not good at all. Very good. There are two things here that I want to check. Good bidding. What is good bidding? Okay, so let me explain you about that one. That is something very common in Spanish as well. When you meet a person, for example, the very first time, and you like that person, you say, I have a good feeling. I have a good feeling about that person. And the opposite as well. I have a bad feeling about that person, or I have a bad feeling. I don't like that person. I don't know why, right? That happens. I mean, that happens in all the cultures. And the other one, it says wary. We must be wary of cultural misunderstanding. So what is wary?
Conscious.
Be conscious, very good. So we need to research and understand, right? Respect. That will be it. Perfect, very good. So let's go to the next one. These are some examples of some cultural misunderstandings, all right? So Susana Hernandez, could you please help me reading about this one?
Okay, teacher. It is always advised to mind your body language when in a company, especially if you're in foreign country. Sometimes the hand gestures you make can have different meaning than what they have in your country. You must be aware of, okay, see you make with your thumbs up. In Iran, it is considered an insult. It is known as
Bilak.
Which is a substitute to one showing middle finger means. In Brazil and France, the OK sign were thumb and conferring made to create a circle. It's an offensive gesture that refers to an offensive hinder mark. Unless you are really looking forward to a funding in a few days in a jail. I suggest you avoid it. I used to travel to Brazil as the technical representative of an international coffee company. Upon arrival at one of our key suppliers, they wanted me to see and taste the result of a process improvement that they had developed. After going through the testing ritual, I turned to them and with a big smile on my face. So that I was indicating that the implement was very good. However, when I held up my hand with a circle formed by my thumb and foreign fire, symbolizing okay, this face around the room fell and there was a collective gasp of dismay. Cheers, Andrew J. Park.
Very good, perfect, thank you. This is a very good example, right? Okay, the okay sign is very popular here in England, in the United States. By any chance, do you remember? I don't know if I told you or if you know that one, but do you know how was created that okay? Where it comes that from? Okay.
I think it's an expression when in the word when you say zero hidden, maybe. I am listening that. I don't know if it's true.
That is true, actually. In the United States, in the Civil War, when they were in a war, you know, in a battle, and when at the end of the day, they had a little blackboard, and in the blackboard, they used to write the number of killed people, killed soldiers. So you put, for example, 5 killed or 10 killed. If that was a very good day, it was 0 killed, and that was okay. So if a day was good, I mean, you say it was okay, 0 killed, no assassinated. So that it comes from. But that symbol, I mean, if you say okay, like this, in Iran, that one is an insult. Imagine. So if you do this in Iran, it's like when you show the middle finger. That is not good, right? So we need to know that one. We need to know if we're going to go. Well, I guess we're not going to go to Iran, right? But anyways, wherever we go, we need to understand that word as well. In Brazil, also, the okay sign is an insult and you can go to jail. Imagine, you can go to prison just to make that symbol. So, yes, it's very important that we understand that whenever we're going to speak with people from other culture, right? Respect is something very important, and we need to adapt if we're going to travel. Very good.
Sure. Yeah, this happened when in the two cases. When you're talking, it's because I think we use Spanish. And when you do that, I think you copy. You see that in movies or things.
Very true, very true. I mean, I remember, I remember when we used to have colones here and we changed that to the dollars, right? And people they were saying about coras, coras, we want to know the coras. And I was wondering, what is that? I mean, when I saw the coins, it's not coras, it's quarter, right? It's like a quarter of a dollar. But that's the way it is. I mean, now everybody will say chorus. I say chorus at the market, right? So I know that it's not correct. The same happens with other words, like some people says, pasame los chores, right? And that's not correct. The shorts, that is the word, right? Now we know English, we know that that is the correct word, but that happens. And if another people comes and says, from another country, mind that from another country, what is that? And you show the short pants, right? So that happens. That is something that is very common whenever you exchange culture. Embracing, that is something that maybe we're saying that some people in some countries, we embrace, right? We hug people, hey, hello. In some other countries, like England, it's like, don't touch me, right? No, please, don't touch me. I don't want that one, right? So in other countries, it's even worse. In Argentina, for example, men kiss each other. Imagine that one. You go to Argentina and somebody wants to kiss you, like, hey, wait, I don't want that. So let's see. Maybe, could you please help me reading this?
Sure. Embracing. Embracing is one of the ways to greet in most parts of the world, but not in all parts of the world. There are some countries where trying to embrace may get you embarrassed. In East Asia, it's advised to keep a respectful distance. Likewise, if you are in one of Buddhist countries, just don't touch their head because their head is considered sacred. And if someone touches, it is a serious insult to them. In Qatar, men and women are forbidden to publicly embrace one another. Whereas in some countries, embracing an important part of their lives. In Italy, literally embracing one another on a regular basis is a common custom. Likewise, in many other countries, whether they are Muslim, Christian, or Jewish, it is common custom to meet near and dear by embracing. However, you might want to avoid embracing opposite gender, no matter where you are. Seriously, don't try it. They will not ask which country you are from.
Okay, what did you get from this one? What did you understand?
Yes, it is very important to know the rules how about to touch people, and especially when it is opposite gender, because in the culture to be Muslim, Christian, or Jewish, or simple to come from Asia or Occident, are very different meanings about embracing people, and sometimes it could be a serious insult to touch one.
Very good, perfect. So yes, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I want only to consider the sentence about that in some countries, the publicly to publicly shows emotion is also forbidden.
That is true. So depending on the culture, so for example, in Qatar, men and women, they cannot embrace each other. That is not. You cannot hug a person from the other sex, from the other gender. Definitely is not a good idea, right? And that is probably in most of the countries. Maybe here in Latin America is not that bad, but in some other countries, it's not a good idea, right? So Very good. What is Muslims? Anybody? Anybody knows what is Muslims?
I think teacher is the Western.
Very good. It's like a religion, right?
Yes.
A religion, believe in Allah.
Yeah, that is it.
In Spanish, yes, I think it's Musulmanes.
Very good. So that is it. The Muslims are the ones that believe in Allah and they pray to the West every at the same time. Yeah, that will be it. Christian, you know what is that? And Jewish. What are the Jewish?
Jewish is the country, or yes, or Jesus Christ.
The original population of Israel.
Yeah, that will be it. So it's like a cultural, it's not only a religion, actually that is very strong. It's a strong
Yes,
very
culture.
strong.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Very good, perfect. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Okay, the other one says mind your feet. Let's see. Maria Elena, could you please help me reading this?
Yes. Must know in many cultures, especially in Muslims, soul or feet are direction very careful. If you are pointing your feet soles so to someone, is it like disrespecting them? Richard Cook from Naples, Florida, shares of his experience when he had a meeting with a client. I like to sit with my legs crossed. And I was in London at business meeting with Arabic client while my legs were crossed was showing him the sole of my shoes. Afterwards, some told me that was an offense to Arabic. No wonder I didn't get the sale.
Very good, perfect. So this is another example, right? So for the Arab people, it's an insult that you show the sole of your shoes is the one that is that touches the floor, right? That is it, the sole of the shoes. So if you do that one, for them is insulting. Imagine that person didn't get the sale. He was in a business meeting.
No puedo.
The deal was lost because of that one, right? So that was definitely not good. Very well. Okay, Anasalmi, don't worry. So let's move on. No shoes. Ada Patricia, could you please help me reading this?
No shoes. There are many places in the world where you must take your shoes off before entering. Magis and tablets are the common example for this. However, in some cultures, you are not even allowed to enter in-house with your shoes on in the South Pacific or some parts of East Asia. You must remember to remove your shoes before entering a house as a sign of respect and cleanliness. In Japanese culture, this thing is most common. However, in countries like Germany, they also sometimes require you take your shoes off before entering the house.
Very good, perfect. What did you understand on that one, Ada?
And distintos,
Different.
in different countries, different cultures, I some not different models,
ways,
but como para recibir a las distintas personas en casa,
in English.
House.
How do you say that in English?
Welcome in the house.
To receive.
Receive a people different model.
Ways.
The ways. Only the teacher.
Okay, very well. So yeah, this is another big difference. Sometimes there are some countries where you are not allowed to use shoes in different things like temples, or you know, in Japan that is very common to see in the movies, right? That if you go to a house, you need to leave your shoes there on the door. So that happens. Okay. Let's see the next one. Using words carefully. This is an important one. Rosalena, please help me with this.
Okay, from the shortage.
Using words carefully. Words can be sharper than a sword. They should always be used carefully, even if you are in homeland. But on international level, they literally create a rate of confusion and awareness. Sometimes wrong pronunciation can cause misunderstanding, and often one word may have different meaning in different cultures or countries. Here is an example of it that a friend shared on an online portal. When I was studying Spanish in Mexico during the early 80s, I once made a mistake of asking a single Mexican woman if a situation had made her embarazada. That, of course, means pregnant, rather than embarrassed, which they refer to vergüenza, shame. Her shock was mirrored in my very red face, but I was feeling shame for sure. I wasn't embarazada.
Yeah.
True, teacher. Yeah, that is why it's important that we need to pronunciation. That's the reason, because we need to have a good pronunciation. Because if we change only one letter, the pronunciation in other countries can understand another thing, and we can be very ashamed of it.
Very true. I mean, this is a very good example. I mean, that word, I mean, is very similar to the other one in Spanish, right? But it's not the same. It's totally different. The same happens. So, for example, I was with a friend sometime, you know, and he said, my friend was molesting me. And I say, he was doing what? I mean, you know, molesting is when somebody is trying to get some sexual abuse of you. And I say, wait. So I explain. You need to say he was annoying me. Annoy is good. The other one is not good. And he was, oh, I didn't know, right? So little words. So we need to know vocabulary when we're going to express, because we need to be very sure. I mean, imagine that you say something like that in a job environment. Maybe the people there are not going to say anything, but they're going to say, oh my goodness, that's kind of strange, right? So yeah, and pronunciation also. Sometimes if we don't pronunciate the words properly, sometimes they don't understand.
It's the famous word beach. the beach.
Oh yeah, that is something very common. So
Yes, it could be.
there are some
We
words
never
that we have
know.
to be careful
Yeah,
with.
if we don't have a good pronunciation, the other people can can imagine what.
Yeah,
It's so difficult. Yeah, we
yeah.
need to have. We need to be careful about it.
And those are this kind of misunderstandings that we can find, right? Not only about the habits or the body language or the way that we do something, salutations, greetings, but also the words that we're going to use. So we need to be very careful on that one.
Teacher, in this case, we need must learn to apologize.
Yeah, definitely. So sometimes it's very common that if you do something like that, if you do a mistake, the other person is going to correct you. They're going to say, no, that is not correct. Do it like this, right? And then you say, oh, I'm sorry, right? I didn't know. So in that case, it's fine. The problem is when nobody tells you, right? If nobody tells you the mistake, you may continue using that word and everybody's going to say, what is going on there, right? So not good. So it's better that if somebody makes a mistake, you correct the person. So they apologize and they use the language or anything else in the proper way. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little video. This is a very good one. So, but let me just look for that one here. But in the meantime, do you have any other examples of that kind of situations, so misunderstandings about that?
Teacher, I only ask you, for example, I only one day I go out abroad of yes our country.
Okay.
I visited Honduras,
Okay.
but I have not the opportunity to visit many places in this country, right? But I think if I only stayed for 2 days, but I think if I have I have a trip, I want to travel for many days. I think I need to investigate the different situation to avoid embarrass. Like for example, this cultural misunderstanding about the shoot off the different words, right? And I think because I only one day I visited a different country like or country, right? I think that.
Very good. Perfect. Thank you, Manuel. Yeah, that is so true. Whenever we're going to travel to other countries, we need to research, right? We need to research. Even worse, if this is going to be a job, a business trip, right? So yeah, we definitely. And I mean, that is very common. I mean, sometimes even in the same country, in different cities, they have different words. I mean, different ways to express different habits, and we need to really understand those. I remember something like that one. I was reading about a teacher. She was teaching English in a country that is called Micronesia, you know, and she says that one day it was very hot, and she wanted to drink something, right, like a soda or anything like that. And she passed by a restaurant, a small restaurant. It was not a big one. It was a very small one. So she entered and she asked to the person that was there, a woman, do you have any sodas or anything cold? And the woman didn't say anything. And she was like, maybe she didn't listen to me, right? Could you please give me a soda or anything cold that I need? And again, the woman didn't say anything. She said, okay, I don't know what happened. That she went away. But then somebody told her that in Micronesia, for them to say yes, they do this. So,
okay.
What happens is that
gestures.
So she entered and she said, do you have soda? And the other woman is like, right.
Interesting.
So she didn't know. She's like, she doesn't want to say anything, right? I'm going to go home. But she answered, right? So that is cultural things, little things, right? So in India, for example, for them to say yes, depending on the region, sometimes they do this, sometimes they do this. So, I mean, you have to know in which region you are going to be. That is very important, right? That is very important. So do you have any other stories about that one? I mean, have you ever read or seen or experienced different cultures misunderstanding?
One day in one place at work, I have I have, I don't know, I used to how do you say saludar?
Greet.
Okay, greet the people that receive me. But one day I visited any some house and in my work, but I don't know. I don't remember what is the word I said, but for example, in Spanish, you call a little boy pequeñín, chico, chiquitín in our country. But when I said one type of word, the mom of child, they look me weird. But what happened? I said, what happened? And the child start to cry. This family is a Colombian, and I was embarrassed, and I said, oh, so sorry, what happened? And the mom told me that this word in Colombia is an insult. So I said, I'm so sorry in El Salvador. I didn't know what was the country or that they were, but I didn't know, right? But I had this type of difficult.
Very good. So yeah, that is it. That is like the perfect scenario, right?
Yes.
I mean, we don't know. We just speak, right? We just that and that's it.
Yes, because you know, Colombians, for example, the color of the skin, the characteristic external, you don't imagine what country are they, or in some cases when you look the characteristics of people, the color of he or she is I don't know. How do you say el color de cabello de los gringos?
The hair color, the American hair color.
Yeah, but the color of the skin, they are. I forget the word, but how do you say extranjero?
foreigner.
Foreigner, okay. You say the foreigner. I need to be careful with with the words, right?
Very good. So yeah, that happens. I mean, and there are too many differences. I remember, for example, that a friend of mine, he was living in Spain, and then he moved to Germany, and he had a big, nice dog, you know. And the dog, I mean, in a normal way, he barks sometimes. So when he was living in Germany, somebody called the police, and they come to his house, and they say, you know, here in Germany, the dogs don't bark after 9 p.m.
Okay.
You need to educate the dogs. So the dog cannot bark after 9 p.m. So imagine that is, I mean,
Yes.
Germany is a country that has a lot of rules, discipline, and many things. But I mean, imagine to educate the dog. Hey, dog, it's 9. Don't bark anymore. I don't know. So something's going on there, right? Very good. Do you have any other experience? Anybody else's wants to share?
Yes, I have an experience with Salvadorian people. All right, originally, I come from Venezuela, and I arrived in El Salvador in 1985. And you know, the Venezuelan people are very accustomed to a joke culture. For us, everybody can become a joke. We can handle very easy running softly with jokes. Politics, family can be made a joke. And in El Salvador, all the people were so serious for me. You know, when I wanted to make joke about something, they have understood me very often. And for me, it was quite difficult, you know, to understand that this a joke culture from my originally country couldn't not be adapted to Salvadorian culture.
Okay.
It was really difficult for me.
Yeah, that happens. And imagine that we speak Spanish and we're kind of the same, but it's not the same, right? So when you go to other countries, definitely some things might happen, right? And I mean, imagine how difficult it is to go in a trip, 1-2 weeks. Imagine to live in another country. That is totally different, right? So you need to adapt a lot of things. So I'm very sure that my baby has a lot of stories about that one. Okay, so we're gonna watch a little video. Well, actually, we're gonna watch 2, but let's first watch this one, and then tell me what you understood and opinions on that one. Okay, so the name of this one is 10 easy ways to work and interact with different cultures. So let's see how it goes.
Working together to build a safe and productive environment where people of all backgrounds and cultures can thrive is part of having a successful organization. It might be that you are part of the cultural majority and that you have new cultures coming into your workplace that you have never met or worked with before. Or it might be that you are partnering with an organization in another country or even another part of your own country. Interacting with different cultures is inevitable in the modern workforce. And frankly, including different cultures means being forced to view things from different perspectives, which means building a stronger organization as a whole. The goal of this program is not to help you identify and work with specific cultures. The goal of this program is to help you engage with people of any culture respectfully and successfully. Here are some really simple, basic ways you can do that in your workplace. Everyone deserves to be respected for who they are, where they come from, and what they value. The same is true in the workplace. Many of us spend more time with our coworkers than we do with our own families, and we should therefore be treated respectfully and feel safe in our workplace. Whether you understand why someone does what they do or not, they still deserve to be treated with respect. Our way of being is so ingrained in who we are that we often don't notice the things that we do on a daily basis that might cause someone of a different culture to feel alienated or offended. This can be anything from the way we greet people to our hand gestures, to our figures of speech. Become aware of the things you do in your daily life that might be confusing or offensive to someone. Different cultures have very different understandings of personal space. Some parts of the world are so crowded that they're used to standing closer, or even touching strangers while standing in lines. They're more comfortable talking closely, or it is expected or common to hug or give a kiss on the cheek when greeting. Your concept of personal space may be very different from those you are interacting with. Be aware of what you're comfortable with and find ways to respectfully communicate that if needed. We all get set in our ways. We do things the way we have always done them, and we likely do things pretty similar to the people we are around most frequently, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't be open to learning new ways. Listening to what others say gives you a lot of insight into who they are and how you can best interact with them. Really listening to the things they say helps you not only understand their values, which is an overarching indicator of how to interact with them, but also how they conduct business, how they view time, how they approach tasks and problems, and much, much more. It's one thing to be aware of our behaviors and the behaviors of others. It's another thing to be accepting of the behavior of others. And it's another thing altogether to be flexible ourselves. The ability to adjust what we're doing in order to accommodate what others are doing is one of those easier said than done things. Being flexible includes compromise and a willingness to change, two things that aren't always easy for us to do, but that are worth doing. It's just a fact that things will not move as quickly when you're learning to work either within or with a new culture. Be patient with yourself and with others as everyone adapts and learns the group dynamic. Everyone has their own strengths or weaknesses. They have their own individual viewpoints of their own cultures. They bring different ideas to the table at work. They view the goal and the ways of reaching that goal based on their personal experiences. Get to know them as them. Give them a chance to teach you about who they are, and at the same time, give them a chance to get to know you as an individual as well. Following the previous thought, don't automatically believe what you hear about someone or about a culture. Yes, word of mouth can be helpful, and it can be a great way to learn about new people, but the person spreading the information is filtering it through their own personal experience. You have to form your own relationship with that person based on your own experiences or interactions with them, not someone else's. Now, I want to pause here and point something out. The more you exhibit these behaviors, your willingness to learn, your efforts to be self-aware, your flexibility, and your patience, others will notice. They will recognize that you are working to adapt, and you can expect that when you extend that effort, others will do the same for you in return. If you make the first move, others will follow, and your work environment will improve exponentially. This might just happen. Again, norms are different in different cultures. If you are offended by someone's behavior, you have a few options, depending on the scenario. Your decision on how to respond might be based on your relationship with the individual, your role within the organization, and the relationship between the two organizations, if that is a factor. In many instances, a respectful conversation between two individuals might be enough. You might want to loop your manager or the manager of both individuals into the conversation. Or this may be a conversation that representatives from HR of both organizations need to handle. The point being, you have options. If you are working with someone who is engaging in behavior that is offensive or that you need help understanding, you should feel empowered to say something. So this is really just the basics, some simple reminders of how to have a successful work environment with people of different cultures. The most important takeaways here are that everyone is an individual, deserving of respect, and expecting a safe work environment. Do your part and encourage others to do the same.
Okay, what did you get from the video?
Teacher, but I'm sorry, teacher. I don't have much vocabulary, but I try.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Before traveling to any country, it is good to know their culture. Since our country, they have different customs in food, gesture, gesture, gesture,
Gestures.
gesture, greeting words with different meaning. Even in our region, if we take the time to get to know a little about the country we are visiting, are useful tips before visiting. Only that.
Very good. Very nice, Gloria. Nice. I liked it. So you're right. Different cultures, different countries. We need to, first of all, adapt, learn, and then try to respect. I know that sometimes we don't agree with some things that they say, right? But I mean, that's the way it is. We're different. Sometimes we don't agree with our family, right? So, I mean, that is something very normal. Any other comment or opinion?
Teacher, I think this message is simple. We need know, we need prepare for any problem. We need advice for the when we need travel other country.
Definitely. So we need to be careful on that one, right? We need to learn. I mean, probably here in El Salvador we don't have that much of situation because, I mean, we are kind of the same. It's very rare that we have people from other countries working in the companies or in an enrollment. Sometimes what happens is that we have visitors, right? That is a different situation, but somebody working in the environment, sometimes that is a little bit difficult. But anyways, it doesn't matter what happens, we need to adapt ourselves.
It's easy in these times because you can see videos that people make travels.
That is true. Nowadays, because of the technology, because of the internet, we are able to understand that better, right? Manuel.
Yes, teacher, thank you. The person that was talking in the video mentioning different situation in a right direction, and I like these advices, but I focused in 2 3, but today I have an issue in, okay, I never have used insurance company, right? But this year in our company we have the opportunity to be part of the to be part in a, I don't know, in a insurance company in alliance with many hospitals, right? But today I take my daughter because she felt sick, or she have a pain of her back, right? And then we visited one hospital of the red of this insurance company. But when I arrived at the places, we 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 were received in excellent condition, right? For the personal. but the problem that we have is, you know, when you use this type of program of insurance, there is a process, right? And I have no experience in this type of how do you say consulta médica?
Medical appointment.
Okay, thank you. Medical appointment, but this was my first experience. But the doctor was a very kind, and the other people. But when I continue the process to pay, because this is the most important in you know, in the private hospital. But I had a bad experience because the hospital is I don't know, is like very important in the line of hospitals. Is known by many companies, by many people, but this hospital have two dependents. Yes, but
branches.
Branch, okay. In one specific area, all okay, but in other parts, when I need to go to make exams and other things, in this part, I couldn't continue with the process because I don't know. And I remember that people said, be patient yourself, be patient with others, because the other word I remember was all deserve respect. Yes. When you are patient, at the end of the process, at the end of the appointment, I don't know, all was okay, fine. Because in that moment, I think, oh my God, this is my first experience, but I don't know. Maybe is part of, I don't know. Right? But be patient with yourself, be patient with others.
Very good. So that is true. What you say is very true. I mean, sometimes, yeah, we can lose our temper, right? Sometimes because we are in a extreme situation and we really need help right now, right?
Yes.
And that makes.
Let me tell you, I already have paid the amount, right, with by my credit card, but when the girl that was in the front desk said me, thank you for visit, everything is okay. Yes, but the next appointment, medical appointment, yes. When she looked my bill, what happened with you? If you don't need to pay this amount, it's low. Why? Oh my God! And they, how do you say? Me anuló la transacción.
Okay. So.
Yes, in this case, I already have the exam of my daughter. I have the opportunity to go out very quickly. And, yeah, but this is not my case, right? I like to do the right, and I busy me. Look, I have this information, but what happened? Please help me because I need to do right. And oh my God, 2 hours after, but be patient.
Very good. So that is it, right? Probably that is something that is missing right now in the world. I mean, have you seen? I sometimes see on the newspapers that two people are fighting because of the car because they didn't give the permission. And I say, my goodness, I mean, I understand because sometimes you are in a rush, right? And you want to get there, but you lose more time fighting with other people. And I mean, so that is very common. People are not patient anymore. And sometimes we just need that one. We just need to relax, look for the right information. Sometimes another problem is that sometimes we assume, right? We need to ask questions. That is very important. How is this done? What do I need to do? In that way, probably people can help us a little bit better. But there are many situations where we need just to respect and also to be patient, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Good, nice. So we're gonna watch other video. This is a nice one. Let's see how it goes. And then you tell me your opinion.
It's so easy to place people in boxes, drawing lines, creating sides. There's us, and there's them. Those we feel comfortable around, and those we don't. There are those of us with many chapters, and those just starting their own stories. There's the well-to-do, and those doing what they can. There are those we share something with, and those we don't seem to share anything with.
Welcome, and thank you for coming today, guys. Today I'm going to be conducting an experiment where I'll ask you a series of questions. Now, these questions will be very personal questions, and for us to get a true result, I need you to be completely honest with how you respond. The first question I have is, who in here was the class clown? Who is never on time?
And then there's us, we who have tattoos. We who feel lonely. We who have been bullied. We who have bullied others. We who are madly in love. We who have overcome great adversity. And there's the lucky ones, whose team won the championship this year. We who beat cancer. who are created in the image of God. And as one body, we stand together, united as one under His grace.
Okay, what did you get from this video?
I like more this video like others. I really like it. It's nice.
Very good, perfect.
You know, the video come from a church, but it doesn't matter because the main point is that the human being has a tendency to put others in boxes, you know, to judge, to classify, to make exception, and this is black, this is white, this is professional, this is not professional, etc. But in a sense, you know, if you believe in God, we are all created by the same God. You know, we have only one God, a variety of religion, but only one God. And if you do not believe in any God, you know, it is also very important that our society, where everything is vulnerability, is complexity, is isolation, is war, problems, discussion, that we very conscious are able to recognize that we are all the same, we all deserve, like said the another video, we all like deserve the same kind of respect, and to be in a safe place, because on the end of the story, we all share something. We all share something, you know, championships, illness, happiness, you know, and therefore I can imagine a better society if we battle the tendency of put everyone in boxes, classifying.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That is true. We label people, right? We put these people here, these people there. So, and yeah, I really like this video because you showed that sometimes we see the other person very different, but you have something in common with that person, right? Maybe you don't know, but there is always something that we have in common, right? Any other comment on the video?
It's like this group, all are different in the same things.
So true. I mean, here we are different. We have different responsibilities, different jobs. We sometimes feel lonely. We sometimes feel loved, right? We sometimes are happy. We sometimes are sad. We have different feelings. Sometimes we don't want to live anymore, right? And then sometimes we say, yes, let's go and go for another day, right? And you know what is interesting is that sometimes I do this. Sometimes I'm on the street or in a bus or anywhere, and I see all the people, and they are like little kids, you know, playing that they have jobs, that they have a marriage, or they have a divorce, or they have many things. We're just like that. We're just like kids that we're still learning. right? We are still experiencing things. And it's interesting because then you realize that we're the same. I mean, yeah, sometimes we feel so different, so separate from the world, but we're not. We're not. So one of the things that we need to do is to approach to other people. Sometimes we need help, but the best way to help or to get help is to help other people. Sometimes just by helping others, you feel better, right? If you approach and try to understand other people, that is a very good first step, right? So I like this kind of videos, the ones that are with me for a while, that sometimes I bring things like that, because sometimes we need to reflect about our lives, where we are, where we're going to go. I mean, someday we are not going to be here anymore, right? We need to do what we have to do right now. There's tomorrow, or maybe there is not tomorrow. So today is the most important day of our lives. Very good, very nice video. Any other comment or opinion that you want to share? I know that you want to speak. Okay, so very good. This was the activity for tonight. We have a few minutes and we're going to do free practice. Before we go there, remember that tomorrow we have 2 homeworks, right? First homework is that you are going to bring 2 or 3 words. Let me explain you about that, okay? What we're going to do is this. You are going to bring the words and I'm going to tell you, the first thing that I always do is who wants to be the first one. So if you want to be the first one, the second one, you come here on the chat of the Zoom video conference. You are going to send the words. You are going to explain the words and you are going to provide examples with the word, okay? That is the first homework. The second homework is that you are going to chair a meeting. So you are going to bring a little agenda, send the agenda on the chat, and discuss with everybody. Imagine that we are your team in your company or whatever you want to imagine. And you are going to chair the meeting, and then that will be it. Very good. Yeah, something like that. New words that you learn or that you read in a book or any new words that you found interesting, right? Good. Do you have any questions about the activity for tomorrow?
Teacher, respect the first homework, the words you will provide, or we search, or maybe the new words in like vocabulary.
Yeah, you are going to research. So
okay.
You are going to bring words that for you are new.
Okay.
And interesting.
Very good.
Perfect. Any other question about that? Okay.
Teacher,
Go ahead.
sorry. The other homework is a May. May is a May the agenda in meeting, yeah?
Okay, there are 2 steps on that one. The first one is to bring an agenda. So when it's your turn, you are going to send the agenda in the chat here, and then you are going to chair the meeting with that agenda. For example, imagine that I bring an agenda about, I don't know, vacations. we are going to decide where we're going to go on vacations. And the first point is going to be when we're going to take the vacation. The second point is where we want to go. The third point is who wants to go with us, how many people are going to go. So there are 3 points. And I discussed with everybody. Okay, we are going to discuss today about our vacation. So do you have any ideas when can we go? And some person can say, I can go next week. Other person say, no, I cannot the next week. I can go the other week. And then we agree, we decide. The second point is something like, then where are we gonna go? I mean, some people might say, let's go to the beach, or let's go to the mountains, or something like that. So we need to vote and decide. The third one is who wants to go. And at the end, the conclusion, right? Okay, so we decided that we're going to go on this date to this place, and we're going to go all together, or these people can go and we're going to go with these people, and we finish the meeting. So something like that.
Okay, okay. The second homework is made the platform. Huh?
Yeah, the platform is something that we need to
platform.
Remember that for tomorrow we have to finish the unit 1. So all the exercises of unit 1 has to be done. Okay.
Okay.
By the end of the class tomorrow. On Saturday's morning, I send the grades to ISSS. So it's very important that everybody has finished.
Okay. Thanks, teacher.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Any other question about the activities for tomorrow? Good. Remember that every Friday, all Fridays, we're going to bring 2 or 3 words. And all Fridays, we're going to do a little project. This week is the agenda and the meeting. Next week, it's a surprise. We're going to discuss that next week. Good. So let's practice. We have a few minutes. Let's see. I'm going to choose. Mini, miny, mo. Anna, tell me. Hello, how are you?
I'm teacher. I'm tired because maybe for me it's complicated because I need to complete a lot of report, tax report, and financial statement report too.
Yeah, I know. Actually, congratulations. I know that you're an accountant, and this week was the day of the accountant, right? So very good. And I know that the accountants, they are very busy, lots of reports.
For the art teacher.
Yeah. So I know. I totally understand, and I really appreciate that you joined the class and you practice. And that's very good.
Very important for me to improve. Thank you. Thank you for your passion with me.
No, it's a pleasure. As I was telling you before, I guess I told you this before as well. I really enjoy to be here in this class because this is relaxing for me. This is like speaking and like having friends,
Really
and
relaxing.
Yeah, it's relaxing. I know that, I have to, maybe one of the things, and those were some things that we were discussing with maybe today, right? Sometimes we need to do certain things because the program is designed this way. We need to speak about the book. We need to read about certain things. There are things that we need to do.
I share with your opinion because in my case, I am teacher too in the university. And during the class, my chip in my mind changed. For me, it's relaxing too.
Yeah, it's very nice, for me, that is so true. The money is good, right? I won't lie to you. But the way that I speak with you, I change of everything that I do during the day.
It's love for the art teacher.
Yeah, and I wake up now that I have to go to the office. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning, so I have to drive and I have to come back at 8. It's very difficult, but this is relaxing. When I go to bed, I sleep like a baby.
Yes, teacher. It's true.
Yeah, it's relaxing. It's challenging sometimes because I want you know, the objective as well is that you speak a lot. So I would like to transmit everything. So you speak a lot and things like that. I know that sometimes, as we say before, we're different individuals. Some people they like to speak a lot. Some other people they
And
don't like to speak. So
depend a lot of factors, teacher. For example, the level of energy, because this schedule is not easy.
yeah,
Not easy. The schedule depends the level of energy.
you are right. So sometimes, I mean,
Right.
Thursdays and Fridays are difficult because of that one, because all the week and you are here in class. I know, I understand everything. And it's good that you're here. So, anyways, if you continue, I'm very sure that everybody here is going to achieve that one. Everybody will be able to speak English very well, the way that you want. Um, Someday we're going to meet in New York and we're going to say, hey, hello, here you are. How are you? How is everything going? Or in Metro Centro, I don't know. In English, of course. So we're going to speak in English, right? But
For me, it was very important. Your advice. I remembered your advice related to the it's very important the practice and listen the record of the class. So check the mistake or the pronunciation or when the other classmate participate. It's possible in that moment I didn't understand, but when I am quiet, it's better. My level of concentration is possible. Repeat class.
very good. So that is it. Remember that also everybody learns in different ways, right? There are different tips that you have to follow. One of the most common is to watch videos on YouTube with, in English with the subtitles in English. That is very good. You can learn vocabulary. You say, oh, that is a new word. I want to write it down and look for that one. If you want to, for example, if you want to practice right now, there are a lot of applications that you can record your voice and compare, right? So nowadays the technology is amazing and we can do lots of things. So um, if another thing that is very important is that, yeah, we come to the class and we do practice here, we read. I really like reading because you say the words, you see the words, you understand the whole concept, you get new vocabulary. So I really like that one, but I really like this as well. Sometimes that I stop and I speak about anything. That is also very important. And
In my opinion, teacher, in this level, there are a lot of new words for me in vocabulary. A lot of words.
And that is very good, right? So as I was telling you also before, you can write down the words and say, hey, that is a new word. And you can look for that one and start using in the vocabulary, I mean, in your daily days. If you do that one, I mean, another thing that I was going to say is also that, yes, coming to the class is very important, but if you have the chance, you need to practice by yourself, right? Do some exercises, writings, speak in English, think in English. That is very important.
This is my goal in my child.
How is your sister going? How is she?
My twin sister.
Uh-huh.
Yes, she is good.
Okay, very good.
Thank you, teacher.
Yeah, I remember.
For my new classmate, I have a twin sister.
A twin sister,
It's important for me the clarification.
Very good. Yeah, yeah. I always wanted to have twins, but I guess that won't be possible. But anyways, very good. Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, I know that is very. Thank you for participating, Ana Salme. Very well, my friends. So, do you have any questions about the class of tonight? Questions. Remember that if you have questions, you can interrupt the class. Also, if you have questions, you can chat with me in the group or directly in the WhatsApp. So you can say, I don't understand this thing. Please tell me more about that one. And of course, I will have the time to check into that one or new vocabulary or any other things. Okay. So we can do that. Okay, my friends, let's check the attendance. And then we'll have to go to bed. Let's check here. The 101 of tonight is going to be for actually Ana Selman. Yeah, nice. Okay. Ada Patricia Linares Galdames.
Present.
Good. Adriana Stephanie Martinez Flores. Alejandra Michelle Hueso Nájera. Ana Selmi Chévez.
Present, teacher.
Good. Edwin Alexander Ayala Erazo. Gloria Elizabeth Linares Galdames.
Here.
Good. Carla Verónica Vázquez de Rivas.
Present.
Good. Maybe Coromoto García de Calderón.
Present.
Good. Manuel Antonio Palma.
Present, teacher.
Good.
Good night.
Good night. María Elena Guadalupe Peñate Escobar.
Present, teacher.
Good. Mario Ernesto Villeda. Rosa Elena Salgado de Serrano.
Present, teacher.
Good. Silvia Zuleima Rodríguez de González.
Present, teacher.
Good. Susana Beatriz Ortiz de Cornejo.
Present, teacher. Good night.
Good night. Susana Carolina Hernández Iraeta.
Present. Good night.
Good night. Walter Mauricio Morales Araujo.
Present. Good night.
Night. Wendy Maribel Zabaleta Ochoa.
Present.
Good. Perfect. It was a pleasure to be with you tonight. I hope you have a very good night. Rest very well. See you tomorrow and dream in English.
Bye bye.
Good night. See you
Night.
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, hello again, Ana Salmi.
Hello, teacher.
Okay, you have experience on the 101. So let me ask you for, first of all, do you have any questions about this class or anything in the past regarding English?
In this moment, teacher, honestly, I need to study the rules and I need to study the topic in general related to the meeting is very interesting for me. But the rules of the book, I need to study more.
Okay.
Because in general, the infinitive is difficult, the topic for me.
Okay.
Because I believe that it's necessary to memorize the verbs.
Sometimes that, yeah.
Use.
Yeah, there is no other way. You need to practice a little bit more. The first step is to understand and then to practice. If you practice, that would be it.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not the basic form now. Yeah. It's more, but I need to improve related to my writing, because in my work frequently I need to use the English, but it's more writing.
Okay, yeah.
But it's very important for me, the redaction. The redaction is right, teacher?
The writing.
Writing, but la redacción.
That will be writing.
Writing. Yes, writing. Yes, we write.
Okay.
In the wording too, yes, teacher. Wording.
Wording, yeah. Yeah, the wording is the order of the words that you're going to use and the and the word that you're going to use to express some things, right?
Yes, my to say in my case, the determine the words or the terms, they are especially for my profession. Because that part is good. It's for my favor. But in general, I need to improve teachers. I need to overcome the
intermediate
level. Yes, because I know I am in the advanced, but in my mind, I feel I need to study more. But may in a specific teacher, it's very complicated with my level of concentration because my schedule in the work is long. This moment I am working. But my goal is in June. No all June teacher. Honestly, since 11 June. It's 11 June. I need to more participate in the class, more. Because teacher, in this moment, I completed the other grade in the university. And I have my last classes.
Okay.
And I need to complete my social hours.
Oh, imagine. Okay.
And my deadline is June 10.
Okay. Very good. So congratulations. You are doing a lot of things. You need to have time for you to rest as well. It's very important that you rest. And yeah, I know that you like to participate. I know that you're very busy right now and you are thinking many other things. So, but whenever you want to participate, if there is a space there, try to do it because that's the best way for you to improve.
Thank you.
Perfect. And Salmi, it was a pleasure. Do you have any other question before we finish?
Thank you because your class for me, I enjoyed your class.
I enjoy my classes with you as well. So it's a pleasure and we'll see you tomorrow. Go to bed, not that late, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher.